Just about set to go for the Minnesota Vikings and the Denver Broncos. Down to the field, here's Rod Mackey.
Steve, Brian, thank you guys. And well, let's just say that this is a big game for the Broncos. We're mere moments away from seeing a bunch of brand new Broncos make their NFL debut. And there is no doubt that this year's draft class has been hyped like ones we haven't seen around here in quite a long time. And the thing is, they've actually been better than billed, with 7 of the 10 either number 1 or number 2 on Denver's depth chart. They're headlined, of course, by Bradley Chubb and Cortland Sutton. I guess you could say it's the good part about being bad. You get a draft early and get those good players. Guys, we'll send it back up to you.
Yes, that is the upside, Rod. Thank you. The Broncos opening the preseason at home for just the second time in the last 21 years. There's the local product, Phillip Lindsay. People want to see him, and the return game is one area the Broncos really have to.
I think this says a lot about what these coaches think of Phillip Lindsay. The fact that he walks out there with the first team kickoff return. He's flashed as a running back as well. He's got to produce in that area to make this football team, but a good start for him.
Vikings have a battle at the kicker position. Kai Forbath is the veteran, the incumbent. He'll be challenged by Daniel Carlson. That is Forbath to kick it away from 35, and the Broncos preseason is underway. And here come the Denver Broncos and their offense led by Case Keenum, a journeyman quarterback, 4 different teams. He hopes the journey is over here in Denver.
And despite the fact this is his 6th season in the NFL, there's nothing quite like going out onto that grass for the first time for a franchise that really believes in you. So I expect to see a little bit of jitters in number 4 here early.
Devontae Booker is the single setback to Keenum's left. A lot of battles on the field, just about every position you look at except the quarterback position. And Keenum to throw. Able to get the quick out, get Demaryius Thomas into the action early. Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by your Colorado GMC dealers. Look at the Broncos offense. Matt Paradis, amazing, has not missed a snap in 3 years. He can't practice, but he never misses a play.
Absolutely, and then you saw that first snap, Jake Butt out there with the starting offense.
Number 66, offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
There's a lot of optimism for Jake Butt. This is his first game in a Bronco uniform, was injured all of last season, didn't play a snap. Jeff Hireman is hurt again, unfortunately, and will not play in this game, so we'll see quite a bit of Butt.
Jared Valdir was flagged. That'll push the Broncos back. Booker now has the fullback Andy Janovich in the game in front of him, all behind Case Keenum. On 2nd and 10. Second man through is Booker. And he'll push forward for a yard. Minnesota Vikings defense was the best in the NFL. Their starting lineup brought to you by GMC, and the big addition there is Sheldon Richardson.
Yeah, Sheldon Richardson comes over, and this defense, as you mentioned, the best in the league a year ago, and they have not fallen off. They have maintained their skill. Eric Kendricks leads the linebacking crew, and this secondary is full of Pro Bowlers. So it'll be a nice test for this Broncos offense here in the first quarter.
Xavier Rhodes, the ever feisty corner for the Vikings. 3rd down and 8. Keenum out of the gun. Good protection for him. Lofts one a bit too high for his intended receiver. And
I think that's what you see there. A little bit of jitters that first time out. 3 and out. They got a completion penalty with Jared Valdir, and then a high throw there from Case Keenum to Cortland Sutton. Sutton goes 6'4", but he wasn't getting up there to get that one.
There was some question on Sutton's height. Is it 6'3" or 6'4"? He swears it's 6'4". Here's Marquette King, one of the outstanding punters in the NFL. You don't want to go anywhere before, during, or after a Marquette King punt. Gets it away. It'll bounce. Marcus Sherrills will pick it up. And an excellent punt of, well, I thought it was better than 47 yards. So it's a good punt by Marquette King. I didn't see a dance or anything. I was waiting for the dance.
Here comes Kirk Cousins.
Yes.
This is the big offseason prize. The Broncos had an interest in Cousins for a little bit, and then quickly turned to Case Keenum. But he's loaded with talent on this offense for the Vikings, and certainly they're anticipating elevated level of play from Cousins.
Here we go. We'll see the Broncos' excellent defense. Cousins to throw on 1st down. Able to complete to Stefan Diggs. It's a gain of 6 yards on the play. And a check of the Vikings offensive line. And this is really where they are banged up. Their interior line is just a mess, really. Riley Reef and Rashad Hill are the only starters that'll play today at the tackle position. They hope to get everybody back for week number 1. 2nd down and 4 now. Out of the 31. Cousins to throw. It's Murray. There is a flag down, and he doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage.
What a great play by the vet, Domata Peko. He read that screen from the jump, made the play, and got held.
Holding. Number 67, offense. 10-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
You see Domata. He's going to be a nightmare for those 3 interior guys that you mentioned that are starting for the first time. He was a stalwart last year, Domata, and they need him big in the run game if they're going to play the kind of defense they've been playing the last 3 years.
The Vikings' really only weakness is that offensive line. They lost their starting left guard, Nick Easton, for the season earlier this week. Here's 2nd and 14 after the marker. On the ground, Murray breaking tackles. He's got 1st down yardage, and he's across the 40-yard line. 21-yard gain there.
And this is Bradley Chubb's first experience of live football in the NFL, and he's a 3-down player. Here he is right here. He's up top. What you're going to see, he gets blocked and opens up a crease for Latavius Murray. But you got to play. You can't just rush the passer, right? He's going to learn that he has to play that 1st down run game as well.
Drop into coverage also. Yep. After the big game, they move the sticks. 1st down for the Vikings. Keep it on the ground to Murray. The right side, another huge gap to run through. He's well across midfield. Gain of 21, consecutive 21-yard plays by the Vikings offense.
Well, that's got to make Joe Woods, defensive coordinator for the Broncos, a little upset. You got your starting defense out there, and there's 3 reserve offensive linemen on this Vikings team, and they're gashing them in between the tackles. That time, Brandon Marshall's play to make and wasn't able to get it done.
Into Denver territory now. You look at Joe Woods in his 2nd season as Broncos defensive coordinator. 4th season on the staff. 5 to snap it. Cousins will keep it and throw out of the backfield. It's C.J. Ham, the fullback. He's out to the 30-yard line. Denver Broncos starting defense brought to you by GMC. Statistically outstanding as well a season ago, really in every category except points allowed.
Yeah, and there was so much of that was they were put in bad position because of the offensive turn the football over. You see Bradley Chubb penciled in as a starter week 1 of training camp, and there's going to be a battle in the secondary. These 4 guys are solid, but that 3rd corner position has been a battle in camp, and I expect it to play out all preseason.
2nd and short. Here's Cousins to throw. Sideline looking for Diggs. Outstretched arms, and what a catch. Stefan Diggs, terrific grab, gain of 28 yards, and Bradley Roby had pretty good coverage there.
Yeah, Stefan Diggs, they re-signed him for a reason in the offseason. He's excellent. Double move on the outside, good protection for Kirk Cousins, and there's where you see the accuracy from Kirk Cousins in the pocket. Knows exactly where he wants to go with the football.
Of course, Diggs was on the receiving end of the Minneapolis Miracle from Case Keenum. Now the Broncos quarterback. Here come the Vikings now. From the Denver 3. On the ground to Murray. He'll squirm his way through. Still moving. He's down to about the 1-yard line.
This probably will be the only reps for this starting defense because they've been on the field now for a whole drive. So you've given up some yards, but you can still get out of this without getting yelled at tomorrow by the coaches if you keep them out of the end zone here.
Hang on a second. Don't you want to see another series from this defense now after getting gashed up and down the field here?
Normally what coaches will do is they'll have a certain number of plays.
Right.
No matter what happens, good, bad, or indifferent, they're only going to play those number of plays. It's probably 10 to 12.
Yeah. We'll see.
You got an uncovered guy.
On the top of your screen waving around. The Broncos fortunate the Vikings didn't snap it. Cousins gives it to Moreeeee, and he's stuffed. No gain. Denver defense coming up big with Bradley Chubb.
Chubb, a great job by Darian Stewart, the veteran safety. See, he comes up number 26 here and is able to keep Moreeeee out of the end zone, brings up a third down and an opportunity to get a stand.
And no Von Miller, we should point out. We were told he would definitely play, unless he plans on playing without shoulder pads. We do not expect to see him in the game tonight. Here's 3rd and goal. Cousins throwing for it, touchdown. Who else? Stephon Diggs. And the Vikings draw first blood.
I think you could see that one coming. You had Stephon Diggs, one of the better wide receivers, young wide receivers in the NFL, and he was matched up on rookie Isaac Yiadom, number 41, fresh out of Boston College, and he's not playing against any Stephon Diggs in college last year. That was a mismatch.
Diggs thought about punting that into the crowd. Here's Daniel Carlson. We mentioned the Vikings battle at kicker. He's the tallest kicker on an NFL roster right now at 6'4". And his extra point. Looks perfect. 8:15 to go, quarter number 1 of the preseason lid lifter. And the Vikings on the board. Kirk Cousins was on the money.
Look out now. Ooh, okay.
We should say no one was injured in the making, presenting the game ball.
So they're not a great start for this offense, or defense for that matter, but a 3 and out on offense. Now you see the starters will come back out. Case Keenum will get one more series here. You'd like to see him get down the field and get some points.
Royce Freeman, get our first look at him tonight after Devontae Booker got the first series. 1st and 10 from 25. Hand off to Freeman. Freeman did everything at Oregon, the all-time leader in just about every category. As we get you tonight's keys to the game, brought to you by your Rocky Mountain Honda dealers.
Yeah, we're talking with Coach Joseph, and these were the words straight out of his mouth. Take care of the ball. That's a product of what happened last year with the turnovers. Don't give up the big plays. They've given up a couple of big plays in a run game already. And then no sloppy plays, which to him meant penalties. And if those 3 things happened, he would have been happy.
Especially pre-snap penalties. That's what everyone wants to avoid in these preseason games. Here's Case to throw. And led the fullback, Andy Janovich, a bit too far.
A little miscommunication there. He wanted to throw the ball to Emmanuel Sanders, and Emmanuel, I think, thought it was a running play when it was a pass play. You see Emmanuel on the outside on the right. He's running downfield, and he's not even looking back for the football, and Case just had to dump that ball. You're going to have those things happen. You know, a new quarterback, a new system under Bill Musgrave. You know, they had him just for a couple of games at the end of last year, but you're going to have to work these communication issues out.
Here's 3rd down and 6 now. Keenum dumps it off, and it is dropped. Dropped by the rookie, Royce Freeman, out of the backfield. And it's another 3 and out. Going to bring him back for a 3rd series?
You might, yeah. Well,
in this case,
like I said, it's about plays, not necessarily about series. So if it were me, I'd have him come back out.
Marquette King has come back out. Probably a little too early for his liking. Had a 47-yard punt. Came over from the hated Oakland Raiders.
He's going to be an acquired taste here for Bronco fans. They're hesitant to like number 1, but he's quite a punter.
King puts it in the air, and Marcus Sherrill's backtracking to his 25. Excellent coverage there. Another opportunity now for Kirk Cousins after another 47-yard punt. As you can see, he lit the place up, and the NCAA as well. 3 seasons of 5,000 plus passing yards, over 20,000 career total yards. We'll see if he comes out after a couple of 3-and-outs on the first 2 offensive series by the Broncos. On the other side, Kirk Cousins is done. He's gotten his work in, and Trevor Siemian is in at quarterback now for the Vikings. On 1st down and 10, he'll hand off to Mike Boone, one of the players in a battle for the running back position. Boone's a rookie out of Cincinnati. And there's Trevor Siemian.
Don't think for a minute this is just another preseason game for Trevor Siemian. Coming back into this stadium in front of these fans, he wants to play well tonight. There's no question about that.
13-11 as a starter for the Broncos. On 2nd down and 8, handoff to Boone again. Coaching staff really likes him, and you can see the second effort. He's able to get the 1st down. There's a reason why they like him.
Yeah, right now, this Broncos defensive line, Domata Peko at nose guard. You got Gotsis in there. They're getting pushed off the ball. Gotsis gets sealed right there, and then linebacker Brandon Marshall overruns that hole, and another 1st down run for Minnesota.
The first drive went 8 plays for 75 yards. Cousins, the 1-yard touchdown pass to Diggs. Cousins was perfect, 4 of 4 passing. Good way to get that first game done with, get on the board and get on the sideline. Here's Siemian to throw, and that pass was behind the tight end Blake Bell.
It's an interesting game for a lot of reasons, but look at these quarterback battles, how they're tied together. Case Keenum and Kirk Cousins obviously tied intimately all offseason. Paxton Lynch and Trevor Siemian 2.0. We lived through that last year, all training camp. And then Chad Kelly, and welcome back Kyle Sloter, who was on the team in camp last year, played really well in the opportunities that he had. He was let go by the Broncos, and the Vikings picked him up. They really like him, so that battle will be interesting at the end.
The darling of the preseason from a year ago. Could see 4 quarterbacks in action tonight for the Minnesota Vikings. Tyler Conklin could not come up with the play of the tight end. Good coverage by that Broncos secondary.
Brings up a 3rd and long here, 3rd and 10, and their Broncos are excited about their pass rushers. Certainly, they've added Bradley Chubb. DeMarcus Walker has become more of a player. You see him there, number 57, rushing from the inside. We'll see if that pass rush can get to Trevor Siemian here in a passing situation.
I was hoping to see some NASCAR tonight. 3rd and 10. Out of the 36. Siemian, good protection underneath. Again, his pass is behind the intended target, but Stacy Coley comes up with it and is a flag down.
Justin Simmons came up and put the hit on him. That flag came from the very back, the back judge. And he's the one that was looking at how Justin Simmons came up to hit the receiver. Now the rules have changed.
Here's Pete Morelli.
Unnecessary roughness, contact to a defenseless player. Number 23 defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
All right, so that is not the new helmet rule.
Nope.
And that is our first penalty, our second penalty of the game, I should say.
Trying to protect these guys, and Justin Simmons comes up. He has a decision to make. He's got to make the tackle there, and the receiver's going down, and Justin kind of hits him in the head with his forearm. I think that's a poor call. But here's what we know. We know that these officials are going to call everything in the preseason just to kind of send a message. I don't think that gets called in the regular season.
Gives them the 1st down across midfield. Vikings will keep it on the ground with Mike Boone. So we come up on 5.5 to play here in quarter number 1 of the first preseason game.
See Shelby Harris in there getting some reps now. They've been really happy with his development on this defensive line. He's like another starter for Denver up front. They trust him in any situation at the defensive tackle spot.
He was 2nd in sacks on the team to Von Miller a year ago. Siemian to throw. This time able to lead his intended target, Tyler Conklin. So we've seen him go to Bell and Conklin. Still waiting on Kyle Rudolph. Will Parks makes the stop. It's a short gain of 2. Bring up a 3rd and long.
2 safeties for Denver. Will Parks and Justin Simmons have been really solid players. I expect them to continue to grow in this defense, especially Justin Simmons. such a talented player, can play man-to-man, come up and support and run. Dynamic player for them in the secondary.
Again, no Aqib Talib for the Denver Broncos. You wonder how much that would change the defense and its personality. Pressure coming right up the middle. And it's Brandon Marshall. I beg your pardon, that's Will Parks you were just talking about coming on the pressure. It's an 8-yard sack.
Here's Will Parks right here, okay? Here's pressure coming off the edge, and they're going to drop off. This is all designed to confuse the offensive line. That's exactly what happens. You see the line sets to the right, wide open for Will Parks, and that's an easy sack.
So the defense does come up with a stop. Isaiah McKenzie. His issues returning kicks well documented here. See where he gets a crack at it. He will call for the fair catch, backtrack down to the 10-yard line.
First one in the books, he caught it.
I want to see my offense get a first down. I want to see some positive out of, Case Keenum and all these great young stars we've heard about. Why not throw them back out there for one more series?
I would have put them back out there, but now you have to evaluate everybody on the team, okay? And those guys are going to make the team. Now you got to get to some of the second and third teamers so that you have enough film to evaluate them when it comes time to make a decision.
Not talking about points, I'm talking about a first down. Can we get one first down out of the #1 offense? Check back next week when the Bears are in town. Here's Paxton Lynch, who is in the lead for the backup quarterback position. And on first down, he'll hand off to Devontae Booker. Booker opened with the offense. Then we saw Royce Freeman. Now it's back to Booker. Ben Gideon made the stop after a gain of 4.
You see 3 rookie wide receivers in the game now as well. Cortland Sutton, as well as Deshaun Hamilton, and now River Craycraft. That's a new name for Bronco fans. He's had a wonderful camp. They're really excited about the potential of Craycraft as a 5th or 6th wide receiver.
2nd and 6. Lynch to throw. Ball pops up in the air, and it is intercepted. Picked off by Anthony Harris of the Vikings. So the Broncos' offensive woes continue in the preseason opener. Turnover.
Yeah, just trying to throw this ball. I mean, that ball should have been caught, but when you throw the ball in like that into a zone defender, then you get hit hard there too.
Eric Wilson, the linebacker of the Vikings, putting the lick on Paxton.
That's not the way Paxton Lynch wanted to start this football game. But you throw that into the tight window in a zone-dropping linebacker, those kinds of things can happen.
So here's the short field for the Vikings. Trevor Siemian comes out for his 2nd series. And they'll keep it on the ground. Rock Thomas, his first carry of the night. It's a gain of 8.
You see a lot of the 2s out there now for the Broncos defensively. Josie Jewell at linebacker. Eric Rush, outside linebacker. So I think we've seen the most of the starters we're going to see in this game for the Broncos.
No Dalvin Cook, we should point out, for the Vikings tonight. He's fine. He's being protected after he was injured in the 4th week last season after getting off to a great start. Dalvin Cook, a superstar in college out of Florida State. He was 3rd in rushing when he was injured in week 4, tore his ACL. So the Vikes will get to look at quite a few running backs here tonight. From the Denver 13, sending in the throw, wide open, caught, touchdown. It's Rock Thomas out of the backfield for 16 yards and the Minnesota score.
This could have easily been a flag here. Here's Devontae Thomas. He's the one that's responsible. Look, he gets picked on the inside. I guess that's it's a rub for an offense, but it's a pick for a defensive player. But it looked like Devontae Thomas got caught up, and that was the reason why Rock Thomas was so wide open.
Here's Daniel Carlson on to attempt the field goal from 33 yards away, and it's money. 2 touchdowns for the Minnesota Vikings tonight. Each quarterback has a scoring toss. Kirk Cousins did his. Trevor Siemian back in Denver and scored 14-0 Minnesota.
Microcosm of how Vance Joseph is trying to do things different this year than he did a year ago.
He admitted, look, you're not going to go undefeated the whole season, but you need to nip those losing streaks right away. You can't get a losing streak to 8 games. 2 or 3, you can understand that's going to happen, but that's where he had to be better. The Broncos had a perfect preseason last year and opened the season 3-1. Right.
Then lose 5 in a row by double digits.
Yeah, they weren't close games.
That's where you get, really concerned, is when you're not even competitive in games.
Yeah, only 2 of the 8 games in that losing streak were by single digits. Kai Forbath will kick it away. Broncos need a preseason spark. Brandon Langley will run it out from the end zone. Here's Langley, right up the middle of the field. Gives the crowd something to cheer about. I would argue 90 seconds in the quarter.
I would argue this is a huge series for number 12 Paxton Lynch. So it's been, now this is the 3rd year, right? And there's been a number 1 draft pick, and he's tall. He throws the ball as good as anybody in the NFL right now. He hums the football anywhere he wants to throw it. But the problem is he hasn't been consistent mentally. He hasn't picked up the offense consistently enough.
Added to the end of the kick. First down, Denver.
So now you have an opportunity, right? He's being pushed by Chad Kelly in camp for the second quarterback position. You come out, you throw an interception, batted ball, yes, but it's an interception. You got to start playing and producing if you want to make this football team.
And he took a big hit as well. On the ground of Royce Freeman. Expecting big things out of Royce Freeman, the star running back out of Oregon. He carried the football grease 947 times in college.
Well, that's a good thing, right? You have experience, but it's also a bad thing. You got a little tread on the tires.
How's my odometer? And Freeman will stay in there. Get the sense he loves the work. 4-yard gain on first down. Here's Lynch to throw and complete to River Craycraft. And it'll bring up a 3rd down.
A different approach there from Bill Musgrave. Went no huddle, trying to change things up, get some momentum going for his offense. But Billy Musgrave there, his first year here as the full-time offensive coordinator, said he wants to run the football. They didn't run the football in his mind well enough a year ago. And his offenses always start with a running game.
No C.J. Anderson, he's long gone. There's no 1,000-yard rusher on this Broncos roster. Here's Lynch, he's got time. And it is too high, a little too hot for the tight end, Austin Traylor. He could not bring it down, and it's another 3 and out for the Broncos.
This is an example of a young quarterback that has to pull the trigger down the field. This 3rd down, the receiver's open. Watch Deshaun Hamilton coming from the left, number 17. You got to throw the ball now. It's got to go out. There he is. He's wide open in the middle of the field. Instead, Paxton Lynch just not comfortable pulling the trigger still, and that's the reason why the coaches get frustrated with him.
Marquette King is on for his 3rd punt. Booted away from the 24. Mike Hughes will let it bounce. The 1st-round draft pick of the Minnesota Vikings. 7 seconds to play here in quarter number 1. Another season of Broncos Tonight begins this Sunday night. Each week, Broncos Tonight is your home for the best game day highlights, player interviews, analysis, and insight. From inside the huddle to inside the locker room, watch Broncos Tonight with Rod Mackey, Mike Bliss, Chad Brown, Sunday night, 10 p.m., only on 9 News. First down and 10 for the Vikings. Could be the last play of the quarter. Back shoulder throw is a beauty to Stacy Coley. And Trevor Simeon was on the money there.
Again, they're attacking the rookie, Isaac Yadam. That's number 41. See, he's in good position, just in good phase with the receiver, just has to get his head back, and that's experience, right? That's just knowing the timing, when that ball is going to be thrown on the back shoulder and getting your head around and knocking it down.
9-yard gain. Move the chains, marks the end of the first quarter. A first quarter in the preseason opener. The Broncos won't miss that quarter. See what Denver has to offer. Second quarter coming up. Welcome back. Quarter number 2 opens up from Denver. A forgettable quarter for the Denver Broncos. So the Vikings scored twice, and Denver still in search of their first down. Steve Levy along with Brian Greasy and Rod Mackey bringing you all the
mentoring always going on here. Look at this, the rookie Chubb with Von Miller and Chris Harris Jr. Aaron Stewart there, that's pretty good tutor right there.
You got DeMarcus Ware, who's in the mix as well as a pass rush consultant, if you will. So he's got plenty of great players to learn from. Chubb's going to be a great one himself, no doubt. Second down and 10. Off the play fake. Simeon throwing and delivers on time and on the money. Able to hook up with Jeff Badette.
And we're talking about Bradley Chubb, and you look back at his career at NC State, he's got a little character in him. Look at this, he likes to get in the head of the quarterback. He takes the towel from the quarterback there, he's got it in his hands. He did this 7 or 8 times in this game, trying to get in the head of Kelly Bryant. And we asked him, he said, you're going to take the towel from the NFL quarterbacks? He's like, no, I think they'll see me coming. I got to come up with something else. But just gives you a little insight into the kind of player he is on the field.
On the ground, Mike Boone trying the left side on for size. Chubb said he did it every single game. The cameras only caught him the one game.
Yeah, I don't believe that. Yeah. I think he saved that for the big game against Clemson. Von Miller's got a little shenanigan in him too, you know, so those two together, that could be a really lethal combination once Chubb gets up to speed.
Can't wait to see them rush the passer. Be a nightmare for offensive lines.
But again, they got to play with a lead, right? That was the problem last year. They got down in so many games that the pass rush was neutralized.
And they're always on the field, too. Here's a good defensive play. The Broncos stepping up in a big way. Brandon Langley came up to make the first big hit on Laquan Treadwell. It's a short gain of 3.
Well, and Langley is competing with Isaac Yadam for that third corner spot, that nickel spot. Good coverage, wasn't able to get him on the ground, but helped out by Josie Jewell finishing him off. No Aqib Talib, right? That's the biggest difference in this Denver secondary, and somebody has to step up at that corner nickel spot.
Third down and 8. Let's see about the new no-fly zone. Here's Simeon, good protection, zipped it across the middle, and it is knocked away. There is a flag down. Kendall Wright was the intended target. Took a big shot.
Illegal contact. Number 38. Defense, 5-yard penalty automatic. First down.
They called that on Marcus Rios for illegal contact. Take a look. This is hard on these defensive backs. How do you hit these guys? They did not call that on DeMonte Thomas. It looked like it might have been able to call it on Thomas.
And I'll tell you what, did a great job of getting the helmet out of the way and leading with the shoulders.
He's trying as best he can, but you know, if you've never been in that position, never played defensive back, you have to tackle the guy, right? You have to hit him, and they're moving. It's a moving target, so you could hit him in the head. You could hit him with your helmet. It's very difficult in a bang-bang situation to do what DeMonte Thomas just did there.
11th first down of the game already for the Vikings. On first down and 10, here's Rock Thomas, who caught the touchdown pass, and he's through for a first down, gain of 10.
So here's the new helmet rules. Everybody is a fan of the NFL is hearing about this, but this is the actual rule. And a lot of it comes back to not initiating contact with your head towards any part of an opponent's body. That's the second bullet point there, and that's really been the main difference in this rule this year. And defenders, it's never been more difficult to hit somebody in the NFL than it is this year.
First down and 10 at the Denver 30. Second and 1, I beg your pardon. I thought they gave him the first down, and they marked him a yard short. Here's Rock Thomas again. This time he definitely has first down yardage. I think the surprise is going to be with the helmet rule, Grease. You know, you're sort of expecting it for the defensive players. It's when an offensive player, a ball carrier, a running back goes into the hole and lowers his helmet, that offensive player will be flagged. Offensive lineman will be flagged for this, pulling guards. And that'll be a surprise to many.
And really where that comes into play is the goal line, right? That running back is trying to get into the goal line, do anything he can to run over a linebacker, and those are going to be impactful plays.
On first down, here's Simeon, got some pressure, able to step up, and now he is dropped. He is sacked back at the 31-yard line. It's a loss of 3 on the play. Marcus Rush got there for the Broncos.
Rush and Rios came off the edge from his nickel spot. Nice pickup by their back, but nowhere to go for Trevor Simeon.
Second down and 13 after the loss, the sack. Just out beyond the 30. Vikings will keep it on the ground with Thomas straight ahead.
Nice play by Zach Kerr. Big man, 335 pounds, just throwing bodies around in there, throws the offensive lineman out, and then he wraps up. There he is, number 92. He gets his hands on you as a running back, you're going down in a hurry.
He's played very well in camp. Coaching staff very pleased with his performance. Out of Delaware, big fella out of the small school. Here's third down. Simeon able to complete to Mike Boone out of the backfield. It's a gain of 5 on the play. Again, Daniel Carlson in that battle with Kai Forbath for the kicking spot. Out of the hole to Ryan Quigley.
Carlson's got a big leg out of Auburn. One of the more impressive kickers that we saw a year ago in college football.
This from 39 yards away. On the way, and it's perfect, the beauty. And the Vikings will add to their lead. 17. Back in Broncos country. With Denver looking to get something going on offense, try to generate something. Even a first down would do at this point. Again, all of this points towards September 9th when Seattle comes to town. But you'd like to see some positives along the way.
It's going to be an important start to the season for Vance Joseph. Seattle, obviously, we know they're not the Seattle that we have known in the past. Then Oakland comes to town right after that, so two winnable games right off the bat.
Brandon Langley let it bounce out of the back of the end zone.
You know, one of the things I'm really interested to see is this Broncos offense from the receiver position. We know DT and Emmanuel were going to be here. The addition of Cortland Sutton and the addition of Deshaun Hamilton, the other rookie wide receiver, I think is really going to open up this passing game. I'll take some pressure off of Emmanuel, allow DT to do the things that we know he does well. Sutton, a downfield threat. He's 6'4", 220 pounds in the game. Let's follow him on this drive.
Here's Philip Lindsay, the ball carrier. So many good things about Philip Lindsay to watch for. Mike Hughes is able to bring him down. That's rookie on rookie there after the short gain of 2 yards.
And you see they love this rookie class. They've got 4 of them in the game right now just on offense.
Lynch able to complete. Able to hook up to Matt Lacoste, the tight end, for the short gain of 4. Eric Wilson brought him down.
But Philip Lindsay is in that running back battle. We saw him take the opening kickoff, so we know that they like him in the return game. And it's not a surprise that he's into this game in the first half ahead of guys like D'Angelo Henderson and Dave Williams, because they want to see how he reacts.
Here's 3rd down and 4. Lynch straight drop, and he is rocked. He is blasted into tomorrow. To Sean Bauer. Drills Paxton Lynch. It's a loss of 8 on the play.
This is communication between backup right guard Billy Turner and Elijah Wilkinson. They have to pick that up, the two of them. 77 has to come off on 90, and no chance for Paxton Lynch. Billy Turner's going to be their swing tackle, probably. He's playing tonight at guard, but that recognition has to be picked up.
Here's Marquette King from the 12. He's getting a workout tonight. That is Mike Hughes, the youngster, out to the 25-yard line. There is a flag. We'll check the marker. That's a 61-yard punt.
Holding, number 90, the receiving team, 10-yard penalty, 1st down, timeout.
The booming kick by Marquette King. The punter's been one of the highlights for the
14-0, but it's just the preseason. New Bronco quarterback Case Keenum joins us now, and first things first, did you want another series there?
Yeah, I definitely did. I'll be honest, I wanted one series. I wanted to run down the field and have a bunch of plays and go score a touchdown, but when you don't execute against a defense like that, it's tough to stay on the field.
And this is what the preseason's for, right? To work that stuff out.
Yeah, and we had a great test. These guys coming in here, top defense in the league last year, so we knew how our work cut out for us, and we wanted to come out here and obviously do a lot better than we did, but we'll look at the film and we'll learn from it.
Bronco fans haven't gotten to see it a lot tonight, but during training camp, it seems like, I know it's supposed to take a long time for the quarterback and the receivers to get on the same page, but the chemistry already between you and Emmanuel, DT, Cortland Sutton already seems to be there.
Yeah, I think that's the training camp and the preseason is for. It's for building a great foundation, and I think we're going to do that again tonight. We're going to look at this film, and I'm going to talk to those guys, and we're going to get better from it.
Last thing for you, Gates. When did you feel like a Denver Bronco? Was it putting on the uniform tonight? Was it when you first got picked here? You feel like part of the team, a part of the community now?
I feel like every day I become more and more a Bronco. I think running out today, getting out, being here. This orange, it looks pretty good. I like wearing it. So every day I feel more and more like a Bronco.
Fans very happy as you came out to see you in that orange. Case, appreciate it very much.
Thanks, bud.
Okay, guys, we'll send it back up to you.
Thank you, Rod. Case is going to be just fine. Nobody's worried about Case Keenum.
This defense is starting to get after it a little bit. It looked like on that last play while he was talking to Case, looked like an intentional grounding from Trevor Siemian, and he was in the end zone. That would have been a safety.
Jeff Holland got good pressure there. Here's 3rd and 10. Play's getting loud. Here's Siemian. He'll try to step up and shovels it ahead to Rock Thomas. And that's the perfect play to quiet this crowd.
Wow.
Gain of 11, just what they needed.
Get them backed up, 3rd and long inside the shadow of your own goalpost, and Trevor Siemian steps up. That's Josie Jewell. Josie Jewell turns his head there. He's a rookie linebacker out of Iowa. Got to keep your head on the quarterback and recognize that back belongs to you. Come up and make a tackle and force a punt.
We've ticked under 7 minutes to play left in the first half. The Vikings 17-0 lead over the Broncos. Siemian on the run, throwing downfield. It's intercepted. Picked off. Zaire Anderson on the interception. And the turnover for the Broncos defense.
That ball was thrown a little bit behind the tight end. And Zaire Anderson, who was trailing the tight end in man-to-man coverage, comes up with the interception.
Anderson's done a great job on the special teams, but here on defense making the big play off the hands of Tyler Conklin.
Well, you can't help but think back to a year ago in the preseason, Trevor Siemian and Paxton Lynch battling it out, right? And then as they got into the regular season, they turned the ball over way too much, and then you come in your first game, and both of them have an interception on inaccurately thrown balls.
So here's an opportunity now for Paxton Lynch with a short field. From the Minnesota 30, on the ground, a Royce Freeman. He stopped down to the 22-yard line, gain of 7 on the play.
Talking with Billy Musgrave, the offensive coordinator, he was really excited about Royce Freeman and his downhill abilities, 230-plus pounds, and they want to give him the ball on power situations, first and second down runs, and let him be their battering ram. They really haven't had that now since C.J. Anderson left.
Averaging 5 yards a carry tonight. 2nd and 3, I would take a shot here, Grease, but that's just
Of course
me.
you would. Of course you would.
I'm an aggressive play caller.
Oh,
and
like you.
Lynch looking for it, and it is knocked away. Intended target was Deshaun Hamilton, the rookie out of Penn State. Mike Hughes had the excellent coverage.
Nice job by Deshaun Hamilton trying to get back inside to get that football. That ball, the fake throw, needs to be outside by the sideline. You can throw it back shoulder, but you can't throw it inside. Paxton Lynch throws that ball inside and almost gets picked off.
3rd down and 3. Out of the 23. Go conservative to Royce Freeman, but it works. 1st down, touchdown, Denver. The Broncos are on the board. 23 yards for the score.
You mentioned it, Royce Freeman, he has the power, but also deceptive with his speed. Gets to the outside, great read by him. That play was designed to go front side. He saw the whole weak side and was able to make the play.
So the turnover, the interception leads to the Broncos touchdown. Denver's on the board. No kicking battle for the Broncos. Brandon McManus, who was perfect last season with extra points, boots that one through.
Well, you wanted to take a shot on 2nd and short, right? You miss it. It's nice to come back with a running play with Royce Freeman. Plays like this, you might start to give him the nickname Rolls Royce. You never know.
Ooh, I see what you did there. Greatest Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings great also played 1 season with the Broncos. We ask, who is he?
Huh. I did not get this one right.
Right.
I'm full disclosure. I'm starting the season with no bad karma.
Bit of a trick question too, we'd say. Would help if we gave you some years. And that kickoff is fumbled and then picked up. Mike Hughes, the youngster, almost had a whole lot of trouble in front of him.
So you're looking for some bright spots on offense. I thought that last drive, the offensive line came to play in the run game. Take a look at 2 guys here. You got Elijah Wilkinson at tackle and Billy Turner at guard. And very well done, coming off the ball, covering up both guys. Wilkinson gets to the 2nd level on the linebacker, and that gives Royce Freeman the lane. And then you see the speed in the open field from Royce Freeman. That was a well-blocked play and a good read from a rookie running back.
And a 17-7 game. Minnesota back on the field. And the handoff swung around. Broncos nearly had him for a big loss. Good second effort out of Rock Thomas. Josie Jewell able to wrap him up after the gain of 2.
Just to finish on that offensive line for the Broncos, everybody in Denver knows that was the weakness of the team a year ago. They couldn't protect either Paxton or Trevor Siemian, so they feel like they have solidified that offensive line, and some of those backups, Billy Turner and Elijah Wilkinson, are going to be called upon.
Heavy pressure on Siemian, trying to set the screen up, able to get it away nicely. Rock Thomas going to go the whole way off the screenplay for 78 yards to the house. A play that looked like nothing turns into everything.
Well, Vance Joseph talked about big plays, right? And a screenplay, you got a blitz on It's the perfect play against the blitz because Jamal Carter takes himself out of the play. Now, Will Parks has to make the tackle. He's got 2 big offensive linemen coming at him, though. So that was the right play call and the worst defense possible for Denver. But somebody has to make a play to make the coach right. They didn't do it.
Rock Thomas is a rookie out of Jacksonville State. Carlson for the extra point. Got that too. So the Vikings answer the Broncos touchdown with a touchdown of their own.
Yeah, VJ, his 3 keys to the game, remember? One of them was don't give up big plays. Another one was protect the football. They threw an interception and then sloppy plays, and they've had some penalties, but there's the 3 directives from the head coach, and it hasn't been pretty here in the first half. Sometimes in these preseason games, if you get your head handed to you a little bit, they use that as fuel throughout training camp. And there's no question that there's a lot to learn from the film for the Broncos tomorrow.
5 minutes to go here in the half. Vance Joseph said he wanted to see really 2 levels. See how the starters played, and then the backups. Be a great question to ask at halftime. All right, so what are you pleased about? What went well, as far as you're concerned, in the first half? Langley will take a knee in the end zone for the touchback. 2 plays, 81 yards, 48 seconds. Simeon gets credit for a 78-yard, looks like a bomb in the box score. The quarterbacks love that.
We're going to get our first look at D'Angelo Henderson. So we've seen Devontae Booker, we've seen Royce Freeman now with a touchdown. We've seen a little bit of Phillip Lindsay. Now we're going to see D'Angelo Henderson, his first opportunity. Played lights out in the preseason a year ago, played a little bit in the season finale against Kansas City, but he's a special talent too in the backfield.
Probably going to keep 5 running backs, and that includes the fullback. And you know, Andy Janovich is making this team. As long as Vance Joseph's around, he made that very clear. Cortland Sutton on the receiving end.
I did ask Billy Musgrave about Janovich, and he's a big part of the team. He said, listen, our 2-back run game is it's not a staple for us. It's kind of the crumbs. But Andy Janovich, I think, makes his team more because of what he does on special teams. One of the best in the business in special teams, and a great grit player that can really help your locker room.
2nd down and 7. Give it right back to Henderson. He lowers the head, just short of the marker, it looks like. And mentioned, no C.J. Anderson, 1,000-yard rusher from a season ago, and there's no one on this roster that ever had a 1,000-yard rushing season.
Yeah, only got 16 total starts between all of them.
Or even a 100-yard rushing game.
Yeah.
So.
And we just saw Royce Freeman. They're excited about him, and they're excited about Lindsay. David Williams, they say David Williams has the best feet at the running back position. So all of these guys have a chance to make this team. It's going to come down to these 4 preseason games.
3rd down and 1. Extended to Henderson. Let's see where they spot him. David Parry came up to make the stop. They're going to say he's short.
Yeah, that's not D'Angelo Henderson's forte, short yardage situations. He's a make-you-miss back, home run hitter. He's not a downhill pounder like Royce Freeman, which you're probably going to need a combination of these backs. Freeman's going to make the team because he brings them something they don't have. Devontae Booker is their sure thing, and they need somebody like a Lindsay or a Henderson to make a flat splash plays.
Marquette King on for his 5th punt of the night. From the 25, high, spiraling punt. It takes a Minnesota bounce. Here's the answer to tonight's 4 trivia question. Again, the question was, in 2010, he was named one of the 50 greatest Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings great also played 1 season with the Denver Broncos. Who is he? You should recognize the name, Gene Washington. Yeah. 1st round pick of the Vikes, the '67 draft. Played 6 seasons with Minnesota. before finishing his career here with the Broncos in 1973.
And went on to have a long career as an executive in the league office. Wonderful man, too.
Pitch to Mike Boone, and there is a flag down. Good defensive stand by Denver. And we'll see what happens there. Jamal Carter, good pursuit for the loss of 4. Let's check the marker.
Oh boy, Jamal Carter, he's coming off kind of ginger.
Illegal formation. Number 11 covered up the tight end. Penalty will be declined. Second down.
Jamal Carter's been having an outstanding camp. His defensive coordinator, Joe Woods, says he plays like his hair's on fire. He's just all over the field. They've moved him down from safety to play a little bit more linebacker, and while he was making that play, looks like his leg hyperextended, maybe his knee, but that is not a player that you want to get hurt. You don't want to see any injuries, but he's been having an outstanding camp.
Second-year player out of Miami, undrafted out of college. That ball is batted down at the line of scrimmage. Shelby Harris got the arm up to knock it down.
Shelby Harris, all he does is make plays. He's a smart player, understands how to read quarterbacks. When they cock the arm back, you get your hands up. And Shelby Harris is going to contribute on this defense this year in big ways.
Coming up on the 2-minute warning. Here's 3rd and 14 for Trevor Siemian. Able to zip it in there and hook up with Kendall Wright.
It's a nice job by DeMonte Thomas. You know, we saw him make a hit on a receiver early in the game where we thought they might have been able to flag him. That time he got his head behind and tackled him from behind. Didn't give any reason for the official to throw a flag. That's well done. There are a lot of teams are coaching this now. Not the head in front, but the head behind. Nice way to tackle.
2-minute warning. 4th down when we come back. Back at Broncos Stadium at Mile High. 2-minute warning. First half with the Vikings leading the Broncos 24-7. And the Vikes set to punt with Ryan Quigley. Isaiah McKenzie is back for it. In the air. McKenzie should have a shot at a return here. Plenty of green in front of him. Hesitates. And now takes off down the sideline. Isaiah McKenzie down the sideline. Has one man to beat. Isaiah McKenzie for the touchdown. A 78-yard punt return for a score. There are no flags.
Well,
a rather patient return.
You can't help but feel good for that kid right there. He had such a tough year last year as a rookie. He dropped way too many balls on the ground, and everybody has been holding their breath when Isaiah McKenzie goes back to catch punts. And now he comes out in the first preseason game and does this. Great patience at the start. And you see why they liked him last year returning punts. He was electric at Georgia. He's got the speed, and he just had to put it together. And look at this patience, setting up his blocks. Great job by D'Angelo Henderson. The block by Langley. And then you get him to the sideline, and the speed comes out.
I thought for a moment he might have touched the out-of-bounds line there. They are taking their time, getting ready for the extra point here.
Great block there. Trailer.
We're clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, once he had the football, that's not the issue.
Well, a couple times last year he did fumble when he was trying to return punts, so he just he had a ball security issue in general, and I think he lost his confidence, but that will go a long way in getting some confidence back for him this season.
There's McManus on for the extra point. It's been a big play kind of opening night in the preseason for the Broncos and the Vikings.
Not to mention, you know, McKenzie's in a battle for that wide receiver position, that 6th wide receiver position. He's been outplayed by River Craycraft and Tim Patrick, some of the guys we'll see later. So he really needed to make his impact in special teams.
Philip Lindsay wants a piece of that job too. Stay tuned during halftime of tonight's game for the 9 News Halftime Report. A quick look at today's headlines, news and weather from Colorado's news leader, 9 News. That's coming up the half. Minute 39 away from that. So McKenzie doing it by himself. It's a 78-yard punt return. Denver's offense has 56 total yards. Hey, 3 phases, Grease. 3 phases.
I like it. Special teams are, you know, there's a lot new in special teams this year, from a new punter, obviously, with Marquette King, and potentially new returners in kickoff.
New coordinator at special teams.
New coordinator. And there's a lot of there's some rule changes there too, certainly with the kickoff rule.
It's Tom McMahon, you saw him, special teams coordinator. He's got some reason to smile tonight. Ball on the tee at the 50.
That last series defensively for the Broncos, you saw Jamal Carter kind of go off gingerly. Saw him go down awkward on that tackle. He was trying to run off and his knee buckled again, and then they had to help him back to the locker room. But you hope that that's not too serious. Initial report that he might have a hamstring, but he is an electric player, and they were going to depend on him in the early part of this season to be one of those nickel linebacker type players. Hopefully he's all right.
Played all 16 games as a rookie last season. Good in so many areas.
Special teams as well.
And it's in and out of the hands of Blake Bell. Trevor Siemian tonight, 10 of 16 now, 156 yards, 2 scores, and the 1 interception. Second down and 10 at the Minnesota 9. And it's a big loss. The Broncos defense with Josie Jewell sneaking through the hole.
Josie Jewell runs free. Shelby Harris gets in the backfield. Take a look at DeMarcus Walker. He makes this play by forcing a double team. Takes on 2 blockers and doesn't allow them to come off. That's what allows Josie Jewell to run through that A-gap. A lot of people have been talking about DeMarcus Walker. He was a high draft pick last year in the 2nd round. They tried to move him outside. He lost a bunch of weight. Now he's back to his normal position and put on some weight. And Josie Jewell was the beneficiary.
Josie Jewell did everything at Iowa. We got a good look at him. Some college football Saturdays. The veterans already seem to love this guy here in Denver. Usually you grumpy veterans aren't so quick to fall in love with the rookies.
Especially Von Miller. Von Miller loves him. He's gave him the nickname Redbeard for obvious reasons. I'm kind of partial to his other nickname, the Outlaw. That one's better.
I'm with you there. Handoff, and again, nothing doing. Mike Boone, the ball carrier. The Broncos defense swallow him up, led by Zach Kerr.
Zach Kerr was there. Again, DeMarcus Walker in the backfield. They need a second line, defensive line, to spell, Gotsis, spell Domata Peko. They need these guys to come up big. And look at the penetration. DeMarcus Walker, great job getting to the inside. And that's what allows these linebackers to run free. You want to have 8 defensive linemen that you rotate in to keep them all fresh. And the Broncos have some unique players with different skill sets, like the Domatas and the Zach Kerrs that are good against the run. And then you sub in all the pass rushers. They just have to find the right mix and balance and chemistry. But they've got the talent.
Ryan Quigley is back of his end zone. Get a look at River Craycraft. try to return this punt. He's standing at his own 43. We'll see a little 2-minute offense from the Broncos. Quigley gets it away. Craycroft to let it bounce, and that was a poor decision. Over his head it bounces. It takes a Minnesota roll in a big way down to the 27-yard line. Well, last Saturday at Broncos training camp, the Broncos and their fans raised over $40,000 for Alzheimer's awareness. Fan donations were over $20,000, and the Broncos matched the fans dollar for dollar. Members of the Bolin family presenting the check to the Alzheimer's Association, a charity they believe in so much.
Yeah, I mean,
for obvious reasons.
Yeah, Mr. B and now Annabelle has been diagnosed as well. Just a terrible diagnosis. I have my grandparents that dealt with Alzheimer's. A terrible disease, and well done supporting.
Paxton Lynch comes out throwing and finds Philip Lindsay out of the backfield. 5-yard gain, minute 5 left in the half. Eric Wilson brought him down.
So you're right, great opportunity here for Paxton Lynch in a hurry-up situation to get some momentum.
Good protection. Lynch had all time and now held on to it for far too long, and Jaleel Johnson able to get him around the heels.
Just kind of see the processor right upstairs. He wants to throw that ball to the outside, and he goes to his first read, and it's not there. And instead of getting down to his back, his check down over the ball, and he looks to the completely other side of the field, and as you said, holds on to the football too long.
Broncos allowed 52 sacks last season. That's tied for third worst in the NFL. Here's 3rd down and 5 now.
Got a big one. Got a big one.
Lynch to throw. Wanted Lindsay. And our excellent audio able to pick up some of the frustration from not only on the field, but now you hear it in the stands a little bit as well.
Well, the coaching staff, that was the coaching staff say, we got a big one, we got a big one. And all you got to do as a quarterback is you got to manage the defensive end. He's not going to be blocked for obvious reasons. It's a screen. You want him to come to you, and Paxton has to change his arm angle to get that ball to Philip Lindsay because there was nobody around him.
Fourth down and 5. It's Marquette King. Mike Hughes will backpedal. Make the grab at the 12. Hughes will cut it up the field. He's out across the 20-yard line.
Playing the quarterback position is about little things, right? And you go back to that screen pass. Let's take a look at it. You know, you have to, like I said, you have to manage that defensive end. You got the perfect play call. Lindsey's coming out here. Now 90's coming. You got to get it up over him because he had a block on the outside. There was nobody else to tackle Lindsey, and that's just the nuances, the fine details. And really, it's a craft of playing quarterback. There's so many factors that go into it, and Paxton has struggled at times with the details.
I would expect to see Paxton into the third quarter as well. Give him some more opportunities.
Yep.
We'll see. Final 30 seconds of the half. Simeon will wrap up the half off to Mike Boone. A successful screen. And very close to first down yardage. It's a 9-yard gain on that play. Josie Jewell made the stop. That's it. Zeros on the clock. We have reached halftime here at Broncos Stadium at Mile High. And the Vikings lead the Broncos by 10, down to Rod Mackey, who's with Von Miller.
Okay, there's no reason to panic about giving up 24 points because this man was not on the field for it. Why were you not on the field? We were all excited to see you out there.
I don't know. I was pretty excited, too. I got the engine going. Stretch went through the whole pregame warm-up, taping my fingers, taping my ankles, ready to go. And, you know, a call came from upstairs that I wasn't going to play. So you're here, you just don't play.
The key at preseason is come out of it healthy, and they're smart to keep you on the sidelines. Hey, real quick about the defense. I mean, you saw some good, some bad. What do you take from them? What will you say to these guys to kind of coach them up a little bit, Vaughn?
For the most part, it's the first preseason game. You know, you can take a lot from it, but at the end of the day, you really can't. You know, you want to we want to go out there and play football. We're going against another team, work the technique. You know, everything's not going to be perfect, especially in the first preseason game, and it definitely hasn't been perfect for us. You know, we got the second string guys coming in the second half, and hopefully those guys can change it around for us.
Con, hopefully we see you out there next week. Thanks, man. All right. All right, man. We'll stand up to you guys.
All right, Rod, thank you. So Vaughn was ready to roll. Well, if you like big plays, we had it. Each team with a 70-plus yard touchdown. It is 24-14 Vikings at the break. Getting ready for second half action. As we welcome you to the broadcast booth, Steve Levy along with Brian Greasy, Rod Mackey on the field. Don't get hung up on the score, people. 24-14. Preseason.
Does this have anything to do with you being here for the first time?
No, has nothing to do with that.
All right.
Nor does the fact that the Broncos have just one first down in that half. But we saw some explosive plays. Denver looking for more polish though on offense.
Yeah, we wanted to see a lot from Case Keenum. Wanted to see him come out, go down the field. You heard his interview. They wanted to be efficient, wanted to go down and score a touchdown.
You wanted another series, too?
Yeah, wanted another series. That didn't happen, but offensively it didn't look good early. The first team offense wasn't able to do that. But Case came out to a lot of fanfare. It's good to see him out in the orange, Bronco orange. He completed his first pass to Demaryius Thomas. Then on third down, a little bit high on the outside of Cortland Sutton. That's how his game started. Then we had Paxton Lynch, who it's been a rough first half for Paxton Lynch. The interception off the hands of Austin Traylor, that led to a touchdown for the Vikings. A missed opportunity on a wide open screen. It's been a frustrating start for number 12, but I think we're going to see a little bit more from him in the second half. The bright spots.
Yeah,
Royce
give me some
Freeman.
bright spots, Reese.
Royce Freeman got his first touchdown, and then Isaiah McKenzie. This was the play of the first half for the Broncos.
Down the sideline. It took some time to develop, too.
Yeah, really good patience.
Patient back, and then able to pick his spots and score. A 78-yard punt return. First half stats are brought to you by Verizon. And again, that I can't circle anything because I'm not capable, but if I could, I would circle the first downs there. The big one on the Broncos side. Thank you, Grease.
Yeah, you got it.
Quite assist. Yeah. So, and we're underway. Stacy Coley will let it bounce out of the end zone. And the Vikings will take over. What do you need to see from this Denver defense to start the second half?
Yeah, so these are a lot of the backups, guys that are fighting for roster spots. I'm really interested in the secondary. You know, these secondary players, who's going to step up in the absence of Aqib Talib to be, that third corner, fourth corner. We saw Jamal Carter go out with an injury, so at safety are some of these young guys, Trey Marshall, DeMonte Thomas, maybe an opportunity for them to step up.
Here's everybody's favorite Bronco from last year's preseason. Kyle Sloter is in at quarterback for Minnesota with Mack Brown, the ball carrier.
Boy, you're not kidding. Like he really played well last year. I mean,
I've heard.
I did the games, and Kyle Sloter did everything you wanted from a quarterback position, and he just never got a sniff from the Broncos. They made the decision to just go with Trevor Siemian and Paxton Lynch, and honestly, my opinion, I thought they should have gave him more of an opportunity. And it would be interesting if Kyle Sloter was still on the Broncos team.
Yes.
The competition between him and what we've seen with Paxton Lynch and Chad Kelly.
On the ground again to Mack Brown. Bring up a third down and short. Kyle Sloter signed as an undrafted free agent out of Northern Colorado. So you know he's excited to come back here and play some ball. Sloter impressed last preseason. 31 of 43, 413 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interception. How's my ratio? It's perfect. Broncos tried to get him through waivers into the practice squad. The Vikings weren't having any of that. Sloter signed with the Vikes and wound up on their active roster.
The thing that really jumped out about him was the downfield throws. I mean, he was aggressive and accurate down the field.
Here's that Broncos defense stepping up in a big spot. On 3rd and 1, it's Kyle Peko for the loss of 3.
Well, we've been talking a lot about Domata Peko, Zach Kerr. There he is right here in the middle. The big man shows elusiveness, gets around the center. Nice play from Kyle Peko.
And a good start to the second half of the Broncos defense. Put Minnesota in a 3-and-out. River Craycraft is back at the 20-yard line. See what he can set the Broncos offense up in some decent field position. Quigley, get it away. Headed for the sideline. That takes a Minnesota bounce. Craycraft will pick it up and dance down the sideline. Good job by River Craycraft to make something out of nothing. We'll step out. 2:10 into quarter number 3. The Vikings leading by 10. Smile on a happy face to cover how annoyed he is about constantly being asked about the backup quarterback situation. No head coach in the league. You want to talk about starting quarterback, right? Controversy, I get it. About the backup quarterback, I think he has to spend too much time on the subject.
I think the reporters in Denver just got used to asking the questions about Paxton Lynch because he had to answer them all last year, and finally they get a quarterback in Case Keenum, and what do you have to talk about?
Right. The backup quarterback. And we're still going to be talking about it unless things improve here. Here's Lynch coming out firing and completing. Jordan Leslie makes the catch, his first catch of the night. It's a gain of 7 on the play.
Good catch by Jordan Leslie.
First-year player out of BYU.
Look at where this ball is. Throws him right back into the defender. You know, it was interesting. We were talking with Case Keenum yesterday, and he has a saying he uses called obey the ball. If he throws the ball on one shoulder or the other, he's telling the receiver to turn that way. I thought that was really interesting as we talked with Courtney Sutton about that, and that was a case where Paxton Lynch threw the receiver right into the defender.
D'Angelo Henderson, gain of 5, and what I thought was interesting is we asked, hey, is that just a Case Keenum saying? He's like, no, it's all over football. We're looking at each other, really? I never heard that. I haven't seen that on T-shirts and hats.
You can only do that if you're really accurate.
Right.
Like, listen, I'm throwing this ball on one shoulder or the other to protect you, okay? So listen to me when I'm throwing the ball. If the ball is telling you to do something.
Obey the football. Henderson. Dropped down there at the 35-yard line by Eric Wilson and Jack Tochum.
D'Angelo Henderson has that ability, right? He's got that game-breaking ability, and he made a bunch of those kinds of plays, cutting back, reversing field when he was at Coastal Carolina. A little bit more difficult to do that at this level of play, especially against a defense as good as the Minnesota.
Off the loss, Lynch to throw and complete across the 40 to the 41-yard line. It's a gain of 5 on the play. D'Angelo Henderson actually went to the OTAs just days after he was in a somewhat serious car accident, had his Jeep T-boned and flipped. Yeah. And then, hey, went to OTAs, got to go right to work. But he was able to survive that collision. It was scary, and able to come through it okay. So he was battle-tested tough. Here's 3rd and 6. Good job picking up the blitz by that Broncos offensive line. Here's Lynch on the run to the sideline, trying to lower his shoulder to try to get the necessary first down yardage. I don't think he got there.
Take a look at Paxton Lynch from behind. This is, we were talking about him seeing the field, seeing receivers come open. Lacoste 83 is going to come open right there. He's open and the ball should come out, but the eyes go down for Paxton Lynch and he doesn't see it. That's the second time that's happened in the game. And that's you have to force yourself not to get your head down, but sometimes I think he's such a good athlete, he's looking for a lane to run rather than throw from the pocket.
Craig James is back to return. Here's Marquette King. This will be his 7th punt of the night. He's averaging better than 49 yards. This guy broke some of Ray Guy's records in Oakland. Not too many punters in the Hall of Fame. Ray Guy's one of them. Craig James, as you hear the helmets crashing out to the 24-yard line, and a flag comes in late.
They're going to get a face mask. Keyshawn Bierria looked like got a hand up around the face mask.
That was just a 39-yard punt. 10 on the return. We'll check the marker.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask. Number 36 of the kicking team, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. Correction, 40. 40 was the foul.
There's a good look at the face mask, no doubt about that. Vikings have some better field position to work with now. Monday through Friday at 6:30 p.m. on KTVD Channel 20. I had a chance to go on orange and blue, and I believe you threw a water bottle at my head at the very same time.
I was trying to hit Andy Lindahl and Tyler Columbus.
Yeah. I knew you weren't going after me. You missed. First down and 10. Mike Boone out of the backfield on the receiving end. Kyle Sloter pass. Pick up a quick 6.
A couple of guys I'm interested in watching defensively on this drive for the Broncos. One is Josie Jewell. We talked a little bit about him in the first half, but he's going to get a lot of playing time here in the second half. They are really excited about him. We call him a 3-down linebacker. I thought he might just be a first or second down guy because he's a bigger guy, but he has really showed up in passing situations, covering backs out of the backfield. They've been very impressed with him.
That's a huge compliment to be given. Called a 3-down linebacker right away. Out ahead to midfield.
Take a look at the strength of Josie Jewell right here. You got a big offensive tackle coming out at him on the second level, and look at the strength. He takes 72, pushes him back, sheds him one way, and makes the tackle. I mean, that's what he did consistently at Iowa, where he was their leading tackler and a 4-year starter.
Unanimous first-team All-American last season. Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year as well, Josie Jewell. First down and 10, the ball at midfield for the Vikings. Up by 10 here in the third. Sloter to throw, and able to complete down the sideline at Caleb Jones. It's a gain of 11 on the play.
The other player that I'm interested in watching on this drive is Isaac Yadam. He's played literally the entire game, and he's had an opportunity to make plays, but there's been a bunch of passes caught on him. See the hit there by Zaire Anderson. But Yadam, they want Yadam to be their third corner coming in. So they'll move Chris Harris down into nickel, and they need somebody on the outside. They went out and signed Tremaine Brock, the veteran, but he's had a hamstring in camp, so they're looking for somebody.
We're hoping to get Brock back next week. See what Cravens as well. They still want to be the no-fly zone back there, even without Aqib Talib. And with Talib's big personality out of the mix now, one of the upsides to that is there's a chance for somebody else. And it's not just Chris Harris Jr., but some other players to take over a leadership role back there.
I think that's that hasn't been talked about a whole lot this offseason, but I think that's an important development for the Broncos, and especially for their locker room, because you're right. He took up a lot of air in that locker room, Aqib Talib did, and you need more leaders than just one guy.
Sloter to throw, doesn't feel the backside pressure, and he is dropped. There is a flag down on the play. Jeff Holland got the pressure, able to bring down Sloter for the loss of 6, but we'll check the marker.
Illegal formation, offense, not enough men on the line of scrimmage. The penalty is declined. Third down.
Well, you talk about some talented guys rushing the edge. Now Jeff Holland as a rookie, but you got Shane Ray Von Miller, Shaq Barrett. You got Bradley Chubb now playing a Sam linebacker. You add in a guy like Jeff Holland, who he's got some talent, played a lot of football at Auburn, and nice pass rush there.
Here's third down and 9. Broncos defense has looked stout here in the second half. Here's Sloter to throw. Put some zip on that football down to the 40. Jeff Badette makes the grab. His first catch of the night. It's a pickup of 5 on the play.
Looks like they're going to attempt a field goal here. About 57 yards.
4th and 11 upcoming. Do a lot of things from this part of the field.
This is Daniel Carlson. He made 80% of his field goals in college. He's from Colorado Springs.
His career long at Auburn was 56. This from 57 on the way. And it is up and it is good. Carlson, who hits from 75 regularly in practice, had no problem with that. What a weapon that kind of kicker could be. 27-14. Chad Kelly has never taken an NFL preseason snap. He was injured last year, and he'll get it going here tonight. Get the final 5 minutes of the third quarter. We would assume the fourth as well. Looks like Paxton Lynch's night is over. Plenty more to discuss there.
Paxton finished up 6 of 11 for 24 yards in that pick. I don't think you can say it was a successful evening for Paxton.
Craycraft will let it bounce out of the back of the end zone.
I was talking with Billy Musgrave about Chad Kelly last night, and he said, you know, he has worked hard. He's worked hard to get back. You know, he had to go through so much sitting out a year, the injuries, but he's done everything he needed to do to give himself a chance. Now he just needs to go out there and show that he can actually play in a live situation.
Yeah, it's getting some love from the faithful here in Denver. And as if you didn't already know, yes, his uncle is the famous Hall of Famer Jim Kelly, who continues to show he's the toughest guy on the planet every single day. And Chad has some of those qualities. Dave Williams, the ball carrier. Deshaun Bauer made the stop.
Looks like they're going to go up-tempo with Chad Kelly, which probably makes him feel a lot better than getting in the huddle, because he didn't huddle when he was at Ole Miss.
Kelly to throw. Able to zip it in there to Jordan Leslie. Short gain of 4. Leslie's second catch of the night.
The thing you want to see from Chad Kelly is communication, on-field communication to the offensive line, making sure these rookies, you've got to play with the threes, you've got to make sure everybody's lined up in the right spot and know what they're doing. And that's probably the biggest thing you got to do in the quarterback spot.
Off the play fake. Kelly unable to hook up with Leslie there, but a flag does come down. Marcus Sherrills had the coverage. There was a flag out at the 50-yard line.
Like Sherrills just got his arm around and hooked.
Pass interference. Defense, number 35. Automatic first down.
That's a play that's common in college. What you've seen from Paxton Lynch and Chad Kelly is just put the ball in the belly of the running back and read one side of the field. That's the college offense, just trying to get him settled down.
Set up the screen. Now to Philip Lindsay, making some people miss. And Lindsay is dangerous when he gets in the space, can create some mismatches. It's a pick of a 16. And that's consecutive first downs for the Broncos.
That's what they've seen from Philip Lindsay all camp. You get him the ball in space, and he just has great feet. He's got some acceleration, and he's patient with his cuts. Sets this up perfectly with a shallow cut, pops back in. You know, the thing that was interesting that we heard from Vance Joseph about Lindsay, he says he's our best gunner on the special teams, so contributing in a lot of ways.
24, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's Jeremiah Patasi getting the opportunity. And those are the pre-snap penalties that you don't want to see.
Coaches don't want to see them, but they're going to happen.
Yeah, sure.
It's the preseason.
That's what it's for.
Yeah.
In essence, these are all dress rehearsals. For opening night, or opening day on September 9th, when the Seattle Seahawks come to town. 1st and 15, backed up 5 yards. Here's Williams. Gets into a bit of the secondary there. Gain of 6 on the play, finally brought down by Trey Matthews.
You know, you get to this part of the field, and you know, this red zone fringe area. This is where Billy Musgrave is known. A lot of offensive coordinators are known to take a shot downfield, and I'd really like to see this Tim Patrick, number 81. He's been a story in camp. Broke his leg as a player at Utah and has worked his way back, and he's flashed in training camp.
Couldn't walk for 4 months. Look at the time for Kelly. Has a man wide open. It's Matt Lacoste. And he can walk all alone into the end zone for the touchdown. Chad Kelly, 36 yards to Matt Lacoste for the score.
Recognition and the poise in the pocket from Chad Kelly. He wanted to get the ball to Tim Patrick on a curl route, didn't like it, but he didn't panic, and he just went to his number 2 read, and Lacoste ran a wheel route behind it for the touchdown. He did everything right, except remember he was on the extra point team.
That's 83 in orange running out late out of the field.
I think they give him a pass on that one. You score your first touchdown in the
Very
NFL.
Excited, yes. That's funny.
Oh, and they had to throw the flag, too.
He's going to hear about that.
He's got a smile. That's okay.
But you could see how you could lose your focus, of course. Here's McManus. On for the extra point. On the way. And it is good. Matt Lacoste in his 3rd year out of Illinois.
They have a ball game here in the second half, Mark.
Yes, sir. Chad Kelly gets an NFL touchdown to his credit as well. 1-score game, Denver. That'll be a tough time for Paxton Lynch. You want to be a supportive teammate, cheer on your fellow teammates. You sit next to Chad Kelly, who just threw, a perfect touchdown pass when Lynch struggled tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's human. You're human, right? You have these emotions. It's a sinking feeling to be sitting there. I've been there before and watch. You're in a competition, and there's no way around it. And these 2 guys are fighting tooth and nail every single day in practice. And so far, so good for Chad Kelly in this game.
And the Broncos do not want to keep 3 quarterbacks on the roster. That is not ideal.
Let's go back and take a look at Chad Kelly on that last touchdown. They ran a kind of a scissors route. This is Tim Patrick. He's going to come down, and here's Lacoste lined up, and he's just going to wheel around, and there's going to be great protection in the pocket for Chad Kelly. He goes through his reads, comes back. He wants to throw it to Patrick. He's not open. He doesn't panic. He just finds his tight end on the sideline, who's wide open for the touchdown. That was about as easy as it's going to get as for a quarterback in the NFL. But certainly a great recognition and read from him.
Kyle Sloter is back out for more. Out at the 25-yard line of the Vikings in a 6-point game with 3.5 to play in the 3rd. Here's Sloter on the move. He's got some running room ahead of him, and he will scamper out of bounds away from Will Parks.
The thing to remember about Kyle Sloter is he didn't play a whole lot of quarterback. He was a wide receiver, and then he got to Northern Colorado, and they needed him to play quarterback, and so he made the move. And so when he's out on the edge, of course, he's got the talent and the speed to make you pay.
2nd down and 5 upcoming. Mack Brown is the full setback for the Vikings. Playing with a banged-up offensive line. Sloter able to throw to the right side and complete to Brown out of the backfield. He's out to the 30, bring up a 3rd and 5. Will Parks had the coverage for the Broncos.
Will Parks is playing a lot of football here in this game. He's in that mix and that conversation about potentially being a nickel or dime type linebacker.
Third and 5. Stadium shaking just a little bit. Pretty good effort by these Bronco fans on the opening night of the preseason. Sloter able to complete for 1st down yardage. Chad Beebe able to complete, pickup of 10. And if that last name sounds familiar, that's Don's kid.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow. Kind of looks like it.
How many BBs do you know? And it's not that common a name.
Except his dad had that, that soft top helmet. Remember that?
Right.
He had
I was at that Super Bowl, by the way.
Were you?
Tom Beebe made that famous play. So a couple of Buffalo Bills mentions here. 1st down and 10. Out of the 40. Hand off to Brown. And they'll push the pile out to the 45-yard line. Coming up in the final 90 seconds of the third quarter to gain a 6.
Take a look at young safety, rookie Trey Marshall out of Florida State. There he is right here. Watch him play the run here. He's a physical player. Comes up, sticks his face in there, pushes a guy back and makes the play. That's what they're looking for from that dime linebacker. More and more defenses in the NFL are using safeties, bring them down at the linebacker depth in nickel and dime situations, but they got to be able to play the run, and Trey Marshall did it pretty well.
Undrafted free agent out of Florida State. And this is Brown trying to reverse the field, and he does. Kyle Pecco made the tackle for the Broncos after a gain of 11. Impressive drive, Mac Brown.
Yep, coming off there on the backside, Kyle Pecco gets tripped up and goes down. And you know, when the defensive lineman gets on the ground, these backs are too good in the NFL. They know exactly where to go, cut behind him because there's going to be a big hole.
Into Broncos territory now. 20 seconds to play here in the third quarter. Give it to Brown again. What can Brown do for you? Pick up another yard. Antonio Simmons making the stop. That should do it for quarter number 3. Got a ball game. 6-point lead for Minnesota as we hit quarter number 4. Cycling event.
You want to stay over next week after the Bears game and go to the go downtown and see these guys Sunday?
That'd be great.
That's an awesome event.
We open up quarter number 4 with a flag. Yes.
Get like 1 million people downtown watching that event.
False start, number 84, offense, 5-yard penalty still, second down.
Chris, what's it like for a veteran who's out of the game? How locked in are you to the fourth quarter of the first preseason game?
Right when you asked me that question, yes. I was looking down there at Demaryius Thomas. He's over there joking around on the sideline.
Like I said, locked in.
Yeah.
Totally locked in on everything going on.
Yeah. The question is, how many hot dogs did you have at halftime?
That ball is in and out of the hands, nearly intercepted. Beebe was the intended target. C.J. Smith was there.
C.J. Smith was upset with Keyshawn Bierria. He thought he might have had an interception, and then Bierria comes and just blows him up. Well, they're like, listen, hey man, that's what linebackers do. You know, just blow things up.
Come on, man, I needed that ball.
He would have scored if he would have caught it.
Trying to set up the screen and nothing doing. The Broncos diagnosed that very well.
Yeah, that was again Jeff Holland. He's made a sack, and now on a third down situation, he sniffs out the screen and blows that up. So mention Jeff Holland's name a couple times.
Isaiah McKenzie was explosive the last time we saw him. He's standing back at the 11-yard line at the 78-yard punt return.
It's interesting. You're seeing him, returning punts deep into this game. They want to get him as many reps as possible.
Quigley gets it away. McKenzie will call for the fair catch. Looks like he had an opportunity to return that one. It's a 33-yard punt.
Welcome back to Broncos Stadium at Mile High. Denver down right now 27-21, but making a comeback. Derek Wolfe joins me now, and I know there were a lot of Broncos happy to get things started again, but because your season was cut short last year, I'm sure you were really chomping at the bit to be back on the field again, Derek.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to it because obviously last year was, November, I was done. And, having a neck surgery and dealing with all that stuff, and, anytime you come out here for the first time you're going to tackle somebody, it felt good to put my hands on another player that's not my teammate and tackle somebody, get him to the ground, and you know, I felt a little bit rusty playing real football because your nerves are going. You're still like, but you know, I had to let you getting to let it loose and doing. I wanted to leave myself out there and do a long drive to see if I had the wind, and you know, I did. I won a 7-play series, and that's a lot of plays for a defensive lineman. So, you know, I was pretty good. I was a little gassed, but nothing crazy.
It's good. It's good to see you back on the football field. And your position right now, that Denver defensive line, there's some deep positions on this Broncos team. But that's probably got to be number one.
Yeah, and that was a problem last year with injuries. Is that, you know, guys got, that's the problem. You get an injury, guys get stuck out there playing the whole game. So it's important to have depth so that there's not a drop off. If, you know, when I got to come off the field, Pecco's come off the field, Adam comes off the field, you know that Zach, Shelby, D. Walker's going to go in there. They're going to get the job done.
Derek, last thing for you, you've talked in camp about how improved the offensive line was, that they're challenging you guys more.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know, their technique has gotten a lot better. They're playing tougher. They're trying to be, you know, they're finishing the play. It's hard to get a one-on-one. You'll get them beat, and they recover well. You know, and that's what you look for in a good offensive line. Somebody plays nasty and plays tough and gritty.
Derek, appreciate your time. It's great to see you back again. Okay, guys, we'll send it back up to you.
Thank you, Rod. Thank you, Derek. It is good to see him healthy, one of the fiery leaders on this Broncos defense.
Boy, when he's healthy and he's got his motor revved up, he is a game changer. And I know everybody likes to talk about Von Miller, and
yes,
well-deserved. But Derek Wolfe is a critical cog to this defense.
A little bit of a dangerous situation there for Chad Kelly during that conversation. Issue with the snap. That snap is perfect. Here's Kelly to throw. And it is juggled. Let's see if they say it's a catch. Tim Patrick for 6 yards, and it's ruled a catch. That's Patrick's second grab on this drive. I know he's one of the players you were interested in.
Yeah, I tell you, this kid, keep an eye on him throughout this preseason, because he's made plays like this. Catching the ball with his hands. He's big, he's athletic. 6'5", 210 pounds. That's a great target for a quarterback, and he's done nothing but impress coaches so far this preseason.
We're told he can play any of the wide receiver positions as well, so that's important. That's Lindsey, bottom of your screen in motion. Here's Kelly. Rifles one across the middle. It's complete. Able to hook up to Brian Parker for his first catch. And it's a gain of 20.
Start to see the confidence of Chad Kelly. He's throwing a touchdown pass. He's got some other completions going. He's feeling it right now. Watch how he threads this ball in between defenders. This is not easy to do. You got to anticipate and trust your tight end is going to come through that window. That's about as good as you can do it.
Chad Kelly 6 of 7 for 97 yards and the score. At the Minnesota 40 now. Here's Kelly with plenty of time. Good pocket, bit of a jump ball. Looking around for a flag was Mark Chapman.
I love it. He's aggressive. You know, he's an aggressive. He's a playmaker. He's that way at Ole Miss. He never shied away from the situation. When you go on the road to Alabama and you're playing at Ole Miss and you beat that team in college football, that just shows you what kind of moxie this kid has. The question is, you know, can he harness that in ways that are productive in the NFL at the quarterback spot?
You always go back. It's a shame you keep mentioning Jim Kelly, but those are a lot of the traits from the Kelly family. Of course, they've gotten a great spot for Jim. D'Angelo Henderson on the receiving end, gain of 5. But you can see the confidence building moving down the field here right now, right in front of your eyes. The shoulders get a little broader, right? Yeah. Posture gets a little better.
And he's trying to learn a new offense, right? Like, this is the style of offense that he played at Ole Miss has nothing to do with the offense he's currently running. So, and this is his first action under the lights, so it's impressive.
3rd down and 5. What do you got, Chad Kelly?
He's got double A gap pressure here from the linebackers. He's changing the protection, bringing the tight end back to protect himself.
2 to snap it, get it away. Kelly runs up the middle for the first down and more, and then slides down at the 17-yard line. It's a gain of 17. Nothing was there, and Kelly took matters into his own arms.
There was a lot going on. A 3rd down in the NFL at the quarterback spot, you got to think. You have to be able to adjust. He saw both of these linebackers, so he brought his tight end back. Watch, he gets it picked up. So now he knows he's protected. He didn't panic. First receiver's not open, and he just uses his feet. I mean, that's moxie. But it's also knowing how you're protected and how the offense works.
First down. Ball spotted at the 19 of the Vikings. Kelly all by himself in the backfield. Looks to rifle one. It was batted down at the line of scrimmage. He was definitely looking in the end zone.
Boy, Matt Lacoste thought he had his second touchdown of the night because he was open down the seam. And that ball just gets batted. You know, the other thing that happens is the offensive coordinator gets comfortable too. When a young quarterback starts playing well and they feel like they don't have to call a conservative game. Right now, Musgrave is attacking the end zone.
Dave Williams is checked in now for the Broncos. They give it to him on the draw play. Not sure he got back to the line of scrimmage. Richard Clear made the stop, the linebacker for the Vikings. There's an injured player from Minnesota, and it's Kentrell Brothers, third-year player out of Missouri. And he'll get attended to. Shouldn't that have been key number one, by the way? We're doing the keys to the game. Don't get anyone hurt. Right? Don't get anyone injured.
On either side, anybody. An opportunity here actually helped Chad Kelly to settle down, now know the situation. NFL is so much about situations. 3rd and 11. And right here, you don't need to force the ball into a tight window. You got a field goal opportunity. Don't give that up. But if it's there, take your shot.
Denver's first 9 drives, they had 2 first downs. The last 2 drives, 7 first downs, all led by Chad Kelly. Here's 3rd and 11. Lindsey to Kelly's left. Now going to the pattern. And there it is, Philip Lindsey into the end zone, touchdown. There is a flag down, back out at the 30-yard line. It's a 19-yard play.
Touchdown is good.
The penalty is on Minnesota, and the touchdown will stand. And the Broncos an extra point away from taking their first lead of the game.
Unbelievable play by Chad Kelly. Sees the blitz, knows that he's got Philip Lindsey free release. He knows he's going to get hit, but he couldn't throw the ball right away. He had to wait for Lindsey to make his break, so he retreated, gets blown up. Obviously, that's a personal foul, late hit, but you have to do that as a quarterback in the NFL. You know you're going to get hit and still deliver.
And you will earn the respect of your teammates that way. What a story developing here in Denver tonight. With exactly 10 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. All of a sudden, the Broncos have roared all the way back. Denver enjoying their first lead of the night. Brown. Game coverage begins at 7 right here on KTVD Channel 20.
You know, you had a rough start to your first Broncos broadcast.
I did?
24 points given up in the first half.
Right.
You're down, but
so not
you're making a comeback.
Not me necessarily. The Broncos defense.
I blamed you.
I will accept that blame.
Look at this drive, last drive by Chad Kelly. Throws a dart to the tight end right over the middle. Beautiful throw to Patrick. Then he throws one on 3rd down, has to retreat. It takes a big pop, but gets the ball to Philip Lindsey for the touchdown. That's as good as you can do it at the quarterback spot in a preseason game.
And so I know you don't want to overreact to the first preseason game when something is negative, but how about when something is positive like that? That could get that kind of reaction and get things going, build some momentum and confidence.
All you can do is make the most out of the reps you get, right? I don't care if it's first team, second team, third team, eighth team. Just get out there and make the most of it.
Sloter off his back foot, going down the sideline, and a penalty is called. Michael Hunter drew the flag. As Sloter picked himself up off the turf.
Pass interference, number 39 defense. Automatic first down.
Some good position there. And I've been watching a lot of practice, and Hunter has had a penchant for doing this in practice too. He's got a lot of penalties called on him in practice, and it's tough That's a dangerous hit there by Williams. You can't come in and hit a quarterback low. That's where you tear those ACLs.
We've seen that flag before. Yeah. It's been a pretty clean game. I kind of expected a flag fest, and it really hasn't been that way. And we have not seen a single illegal use of helmet penalty call. Slaughter able to complete there, able to hook up with Jake Winicky. His first grab of the night. The rookie at South Dakota State. Trey Marshall had the coverage after the gain of 16.
Yeah, don't think that Kyle Slaughter is going to go away quietly here either. There's a lot of football left to play, 9.5 minutes in a one-point game, and now he's in a battle with Chad Kelly going up and down the field.
We were told we might see a fourth quarterback, Peter Pujols, for the Vikings, but not as of yet. On the ground to Mac Brown. He's down to shy of the 20-yard line, a gain of 5 on the play.
Yeah, you might see Pujols sooner rather than later, because Kyle Slaughter looks like he was a little shaken up with that low hit on his leg. He keeps reaching down to his right knee.
We tick under 9 minutes left. Second down and 5. Handoff to Brown. On the left side, good Broncos defense there. Shy of the first down marker. Jordan Moore, the first-year out-of player. First-year player able to make the stop. Gain of 4 on the play. Moore, a star hurdler at TCU. Here's third down and short. Brown in the backfield with Kyle Slaughter. Slaughter rolling to his right and throwing and completing for the first down. It's Chad Beebe.
That was a great throw and catch there. Interesting play call in short yardage, third down and 1. You know, a sprint right option with a quarterback who's a little gimpy. Get him on the move, but nice job of Beebe going down and making that catch.
C.J. Smith right there with him, step for step. Needed 1, got 3. Ball spotted out at the 16. Little inside handoff to Mac Brown. He crashes down inside the 10-yard line. Gain of 6 on the play. Keyshawn Vieira made the tackle.
It's excited to see Keyshawn Vieira play. He was one of the best players on that Washington defense, University of Washington defense last year. Is one of the best in the country, and he's got a great leadership ability, great recognition, smart football player, making all the calls as a rookie. It's not easy to do, but he's got an uphill battle to make this football team as an undrafted free agent.
Second and 3. Mac Brown right into the middle of the defense. Trey Marshall. Grease, at this point in the game, so it's a 1-point game. In an exhibition game, are you still working on stuff now at this point? What's for the Vikings, or are you thinking about winning? How important is winning this game at this point?
Well, you're absolutely working on situations, right? You're in a situation now with a 1-point game. So that you're working while you're trying to win the game. I mean, you got a third down here situation, so you're always trying to get better as you win the game. Even Vance Joseph's trying to get better. Calling a timeout
yes.
here,
Denver,
didn't like something.
Timeout. 30-second timeout.
And so at this point, are you scrapping then plans to take a look at somebody else, looking at a player that you wanted to see, get somebody a touch or two here, but wait a second, it's a close game.
No, you're not making personnel decisions as to who plays and who doesn't play based on how close the game is, but you're putting those players in position to learn the situations of the games that they need to know and see how they perform in pressure situations.
Hey, tonight's Broncos Flashback is brought to you by CarMax. In the first AFL-NFL preseason game ever played, the Denver Broncos became the first AFL team to beat an NFL team. Beat the Detroit Lions 13-7 in 1967. They followed up the next week, beating another NFL team, the Vikings, in front of 31,850 fans at the University of Denver Hilltop Stadium, with names like Tenzi and Crabtree. Costa and their first-round pick, Floyd Little. Denver defeated the Vikings 14-9. Out of the timeout, the defensive timeout. Here's third down. Bit of a high snap. Slaughter will loft one in the end zone. It is caught for the touchdown. It's Chad Beebe. It's a 9-yard scoring strike. And the Vikes made that look easy.
First time I've seen Joe Woods in this game dial up the all-out blitz. Both safeties, you see him coming through the B gaps. Kyle Slaughter knew exactly what the defense was. He just had to retreat. He knew he had one-on-one coverage on the outside with inside leverage, and that's the exact place you want to go, is to the corner route. And Kyle Slaughter got after Joe Woods right there.
BB able to run away from C.J. Smith from the corner of the end zone. 6:01 to play here in the fourth.
Kyle Slaughter can play. He can play. I mean, he deserves to be on that team in Minnesota. We'll see if he's able to beat Trevor Siemian. They're in a battle. Okay, Trevor Siemian's not guaranteed that backup spot. Kyle Slaughter's making a push. Mike Zimmer.
Zimmer in his 5th year, got a new offensive coordinator in John D. Filippo. Came over from being the Eagles quarterbacks coach to run the Vikings offense.
Working on their two-point plays.
Sure.
All-out blitz again from Joe Woods.
Up by 5, looking to make it 7. And is juggled and caught. Two-point conversion is good. Jeff Badette on the receiving end of Kyle Slaughter. And that's an impressive Vikings drive.
What an answer from Kyle Slaughter. Chad Kelly goes right down the field to take a 1-point lead. Kyle Slaughter gets a high snap, all-out pressure, fades back and hits for a touchdown.
We had a 78-yard punt return for a score, 76-yard touchdown. Backup quarterbacks going up and down the field here tonight. And with 6 minutes to play in the fourth, it's a 7-point game. The Broncos about to get the football.
Oh, Philip Lindsay going to bring it out.
Right up the middle of the field. And Lindsay all the way out to the 27-yard line. So many great matchups at the quarterback position. Again, the NFL waited for Case Keenum to sign here to put this matchup together,
right,
and we thank them for that. Look at some of the storylines.
Well, these two guys didn't play a whole lot, but here's where you were really focusing, and this is the battle here. It's Kelly and Slaughter, and 8 of 11 and 8 of 10. Both those guys completing 80% of their passes plus.
So do you think Vance Joseph will be asked about the backup quarterback position tonight or this week?
You can already make the headline in the paper tomorrow.
Yes, you can. Here's first down and 10. There's Dave Williams for a few, and there is a flag. Comes down.
Holding. Number 83 offense. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
It's Matt Lacoste, the tight end, who caught a touchdown pass earlier in the game.
You know, these tight ends, they're going to have to block in this Bill Musgrave offense. So Matt Lacoste trying to make the team. Jake Butt. There's a lot of, you ever notice there's a lot of Big Ten tight ends on this team. Jake Butts from Michigan, Hireman's Ohio State, Fumagali's Wisconsin, Traylor's Wisconsin, Lacoste is Illinois. There's 5 guys from Big Ten tight ends on this team, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact they run the ball a lot in the Big Ten, and they need some tight ends that can block in the run game.
6 tight ends on the roster have accounted for just 12 NFL starts. Here's Kelly under duress, and it is intercepted. Chad Kelly is picked off by Jack Tocho.
You know, you want to be aggressive, right? And Chad Kelly's an aggressive guy. We saw that on the last drive. Take a look at this. He wants to throw the ball left. Great, nothing's there. Don't force it. Now you come back to the other side of the field. Now throw the check down. Throw it right here. You got to throw the ball there. If you do anything else, you're late. And when you're late in the NFL, you're going to get picked every single time. And so that's a learning experience. But the thing about this whole backup quarterback competition is they need somebody to rise up. Like, somebody's going to be the backup to Case Keenum, and in one play away. And you can't be an up and down guy. You can't be a throw 2 touchdowns and then I throw 2 picks kind of guy. You got to be consistent. So that's the challenge for Chad Kelly. For those 2 guys, it's not beat out Paxton Lynch or beat out Chad Kelly. They have to prove to John Elway and to Vance Joseph that they can be depended on come season time, because otherwise they're going to go get some other veteran from some other team. That's who you're competing with.
That's what I was thinking too. John Elway, he's got the phone out. And he doesn't want to be put into that position of having to make a call and bring in outside help.
Right.
But they need to see development from the 2 quarterbacks they have. It's a 4-yard loss on the play. Clashard Lyons getting it done on Mac Brown. There's an injured player for the Vikings, and that is Brown, who has done the majority of the work on that Minnesota offense tonight. He's been impressive. He walks off the field somewhat gingerly. $11 rushes, 34 yards for Mac Brown.
Mike Zimmer, that's Rick Spielman behind him, the general manager for the Vikings, who I think has done an outstanding job putting this team together. I mean, they needed, it felt like they needed one more piece and went out and got it in Kirk Cousins, but re-signing Stephon Diggs, this defense, they kept that intact after an outstanding season.
Underneath, able to complete to Josiah Price, the tight end, making his first grab. Spielman had to spend the money to get Kirk Cousins. I imagine this will be mentioned every time a Kirk Cousins game this season, but he is the highest paid player in the NFL. $84 million for 3 years, a $28 million average, and wait for it, fully guaranteed. Yep. $84 million bucks. But the Vikings feel like the time is now.
Yeah,
they went to the NFC Championship game a year ago.
I'm just surprised they didn't potentially keep Case Keenum. I told you driving over here today, I think if you put Kirk Cousins, Case Keenum, and Alex Smith in a hat and draw one out, you're going to get consistency. You're going to get the same kind of guy. I think I put them all together. So to pay that much guaranteed for Kirk Cousins when you had Case Keenum right there,
right,
and your team loved him, I was a surprise to me.
Could have spent the money elsewhere.
Yeah.
Upgraded, say, the offensive line. Especially in light of the recent injury to Nick Easton now. On 3rd and 5, the flags fly.
False start, number 78, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Jago Joseph was flagged there again. They're banged up on the offensive line. Pat Elflein is their outstanding center. He has yet to pass his physical, so he's on the PUP list, but they expect him back for opening day. Mike Remmers, they expect him to be ready to go on opening day. He's got an ankle issue, but Nick Easton, one of the keys to that offensive line, had surgery, his neck and back, and he is lost for the season.
The rest of this roster is set for the playoffs, for a deep run in the playoffs. So a lot on that offensive line, certainly.
3rd and 10. They're in field goal range, that's for sure. And they're still thinking about a touchdown. On 3rd and 10, they get the 10. We'll see where they mark it.
Wow.
They're going to move the chains.
That one hurts. You bring a blitz off the edge, and good play call there. And a great effort there to get the first down. You don't anticipate getting a first down on 3rd and 10 by running the football.
I said they were in field goal range. Remember, they have Daniel Carlson, who
they've been in field goal range for a while now.
Who had a 56-yarder earlier in this game. Vikings on the move, leading by 7 under 4 to play. Hand off to Boone. See what the whistles are for.
Timeout.
Final team timeout. 30-second timeout.
Be interesting to see how Vance Joseph grows as a coach this season from last season. We were talking with him about it yesterday, and he identified some areas where he could be more assertive in his coaching, coaching his coaches in particular, and not just allowing them free reign. certainly I think that's an area that that he has put more emphasis, and then being more vocal in practice and more directive. And I think the fact that there's no more Aqib Talib, right, it allows not only the players but Vance Joseph's voice to be heard more, I think, this season.
Out of the timeout. Mike Boone staying on his feet. Good second effort there. And he's inside the 15 of the Broncos. Jordan Moore made the stop, gain of 5. Mike Boone's a player they really like. The Vikings do, a rookie out of Cincinnati.
And a physical hit here from Trey Marshall.
Well, earlier this week, the Broncos community was saddened to learn of the passing of former Broncos executive Tom Heckert. Tom spent the last 5 seasons in the personnel department, helping the team to 3 playoff appearances, 2 AFC championships, and a Super Bowl victory. Tom spent 27 years working in the NFL. Our deepest condolences and sympathies to his family. Tom was just 51 years old. Here's Kyle Sloter for the pylon, and he got there. Touchdown, Vikings.
Boy, you think he's not jacked up coming back to his home state, play against the team that cut him, released him, and to make that play, he's already got a bum wheel. He went down on a late hit, and here comes the wide receiver in him. You know, that speed to get to the edge and finishes in the end zone. Tough, gritty player. You know, Ryan Tannehill, he kind of reminds me of that. Ryan Tannehill started as a wide receiver, and kind of brings that skill set. And once he gets outside the pocket, great effort there. He extends that right throwing arm. I think that's dangerous.
It's Carlson on for the extra point. There's a flag down. Used to be the trend in the NFL, Grease. The teams would keep 3 quarterbacks, and then we really got away from that, and teams were keeping really 2. Those roster spots are so valuable.
Defense, offside, number 27. The extra point is good. The 5-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
I kind of feel like more teams are going to have that discussion again this year. There seem to be great, again, backup quarterback battles around the NFL where you might want to keep 3.
It's really a valuable spot, you know, and that third quarterback traditionally was always inactive on game day anyway.
Right.
So, you know, it'll be interesting to see, but I agree with your point. This is kind of shocking to me, like 42 spot put up. I know it's preseason, you got a lot of backups playing, but to Vance's point, I want to know how good my backups are too, and 42 points, no matter which way you slice it, that's bad.
The Broncos' defensive numbers are so odd from a year ago. 5th against the rush, 4th against the pass, 3rd in total defense. I mean, all numbers that are terrific, except when it comes to scoring against. And they were tied for 22nd, so just giving up big plays.
It was the first year of a new system on defense last year. Obviously, Vance Joseph's first year, Joe Woods' first year as a defensive coordinator. I was talking with Joe Woods this week in practice, and he said, you know, we were pretty base all year because we didn't want to try to put in too much and then guys miss assignments. That was one of the things that Aqib Talib was complaining about, was that it was too base. I expect a lot more from this defense schematically this season, especially with some of the creative pieces that you have now with guys like Chubb.
Some of the changes, players checking out of town, if you will. Some household names up there. Certainly led by Aqib Talib. And, you know, even with Talib here, the Broncos had just 10 interceptions last season.
Yeah.
The turnover ratio was not good for Denver a season ago.
A couple guys, I know they wanted to keep a couple guys like a Benny Fowler, just couldn't keep him. Cody Latimer was a great special teams player, but didn't do a ton on offense.
Chad Kelly comes out rifling again. John Diarse On the receiving end, Tocho had the coverage. It's a gain of 19.
So an opportunity for Chad Kelly to run the 2-minute offense, get one of those reps.
You know, in basketball, they say, hey, shooters are going to shoot, right? And Chad Kelly, he's going to keep throwing, right?
Oh.
And now he's in some trouble, and he's dropped down at the 35-yard line. Sacked by Jonathan Wynn, the rookie out of Vanderbilt, for a loss of 8.
One of the things that I've noticed in Chad Kelly's game, and I remember it from doing some of his games at Ole Miss, is when his first receiver's not there, he has a penchant to go backwards, to retreat backwards, which in the NFL, that's never a good idea.
Kelly fires again on the money.
You know, maybe
out to the 43. Mark Chapman there.
Maybe in college you can go backwards and escape and run around and do those kinds of things, but the pass rush in the NFL comes upfield and it comes hard. So if you retreat, you're going to run right into a defender.
Just get it away before the 2-minute warning. Kelly's got plenty of running room if he wants it. He does take off across midfield. Here's Chad Kelly. He is fun to watch, and flags fly in every direction now. As we're down to 1:50, it's a gain of 21 on the rush.
Very good.
Mark Chapman tried to help him out with a block, and he called for the hold, we think.
He's shaking his head like, no. I think that's the definition of a hold, what he just did there. But that was a great example. Chad Kelly stepping up and going forward rather than going backward. Good things happen.
Holding, number 38, offense. 10-yard penalty.
He's having a hard time with the numbers tonight.
85, correction.
Hey, it's preseason for everybody.
Yep.
Speaking of Chad Kelly, is there a better tailgate than at Ole Miss?
No. Woo. Grove.
We'll be right back, yeah. Marius Thomas signing on the dotted line for many fans. Makes some people's nights tonight. Good effort by the Broncos, taking care of the people who come out here and spend their hard-earned dough. Come out to the football game. Here's tonight's play of the game, brought to you by Comcast Xfinity.
Yeah, that was a great play from Chad Kelly and the rookie, Philip Lindsay, that put the Broncos up momentarily by a point. They've given up a couple of touchdowns here in the fourth quarter to Kyle Sloter, but certainly that was a highlight of the game for Chad Kelly and Philip Lindsay.
Out of the 2-minute warning with $1:50 to go on 3rd down and 2. Kelly throws and completes. Able to hit Brian Parker. Took a hard hit.
These officials are, they can't wait to get the flag out of their pocket. Any hit that's big, you know, they're going to throw it. That was a clean hit.
I think it is. They'll look at it afterwards.
There's no foul on the play.
I love when they do that. Great job.
Pick it up.
One guy, you know, comes in and hits him low. Clean hit.
Yep.
That's a clean hit. I mean,
shoulder. Yep.
Yeah, that's.
And that's what they call team officiating, by the way. There's a 3rd team out there, Grease. They're wearing stripes, and so they got together and came up with the right call. Non-call, nearly picked. That would have been sideline city. It would have been all green. Trayvon Mathis. Wow.
Chad Kelly staring it down. See his head go directly over there. Right when he gets the ball, his head goes there. That allows the defenders to read, telegraph where you're throwing it and make a jump on the ball.
Kelly now 11 of 16, 155 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, very nearly 2 there. Barking signals is Kelly. Stanley at the 50, trying to get out of there now. And he will scamper out of bounds. And the Broncos want a flag, and they'll get one. Ade Aruna. Might have been a late hit on the sideline there on Kelly.
Personal foul. Late hit out of bounds. Number 61 offense. 15-yard penalty automatic. 1st down.
Offense, defense, special teams. Preseason for everybody, Grease.
It's tough. It's tough on these guys. They're fighting and scratching and clawing. Aruna wants to make the team as a rookie, and he wants to show you can hustle and you get out there and And you just it's hard to practice those things in practice, right? You're not obviously tackling, so you get over there and you don't quite know what to do. You get a penalty flag.
Final 60 seconds here at Broncos Stadium at Mile High. Kelly will step and fire and complete to Diarse. He's down to the 10-yard line. Broncos are out of timeouts.
So right now, Chad Kelly, he needs to get the play called, get up there, operate the offense.
Kelly firing again. He throws every ball so hard. That's River Craycraft. Not sure he got back to the line of scrimmage, but lost there.
They've run the same play 3 times on this drive. They're just running double slants on one side and a drag slant on the other, and they're telling him to pick a side.
Kelly throwing for the end zone, and it is incomplete. Incomplete. Diarse was there. Holton Hill on the coverage for the Vikings. Hill was given the biggest bonus for any undrafted free agent in Vikings history.
That's a great throw right there. Back shoulder throw high where Diarse could go up and get his hands on it. You can't throw it any better than that. Notice that Kelly likes to throw the back shoulder fade more than the fade over the top. You got to be able to throw both of them, right? In the NFL, you have to be able to throw the fade that lobs over into the back of the end zone, and you have to be able to throw the back shoulder because corners will read that and they'll prep for that. So he's got the back shoulder thing down. He needs to work a little bit more on his touch into the back corner of the end zone.
We're going to take a look at that last play.
It looked like Diarse obviously got his hands on it. Question is, did he control that ball? No, it's not a catch.
No. But by the way, the line survived the ground has been taken out. We have cleaned up the catch, no catch in the NFL. To make it a lot more understandable for the fans at home.
Doing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Incomplete pass.
Well done.
They have eliminated the survive the ground, but they have added the make a football move back into the terminology, so you'll be hearing that quite a bit this season.
My favorite is another body part. Could you be more specific, please? 3rd and goal, 17 ticks left. Chance to make it look a little prettier in the box score. Firing Kelly. Down to the goal line is Mark Chapman. And again, they're out of timeouts.
Run up there, quarterback sneak.
7 seconds.
Sneak.
Off the play fake. Kelly to throw, and it's knocked aside. And that's how this game will come to an end with zeros on the clock. So 2 of the great defensive teams from a season ago. And we were able to watch 70 points put up on the scoreboard tonight. 42-28, Minnesota Vikings. Going to hear from Vance Joseph shortly. I think Rod dares ask him about the backup quarterback situation. Find out something about Rod tonight.
Yeah, right. Rod, he can hear you, you know.
Yeah, now I've done that to him. I met the guy 5 minutes ago, and I'm putting him on the spot.
Welcome to the team, Rod.
There's some love. Case Keenum got so many people who really love and respect him on that Minnesota sideline. There's a great shot of
those two
quarterbacks.
There were a lot of people on that Minnesota team that, you know, they weren't so excited about Case Keenum not getting re-signed there, especially on the offensive side.
Keenum said he still remains friendly with a lot of those guys. Of course, he'll be forever linked with Stephon Diggs and the Minneapolis Miracle. I said, when's the last time, Case? I mean, do you see the play every single day? When's the last time he thought about the ESPYs? That was the last time he saw that.
Kyle Sloter, Paxton Lynch.
Well, these are some quarterback rooms, huh? Last year and this year. Here's Rod Mackey. Take it away, Rod.
Okay, Coach. Well, kind of a slow start, strong finish. Chad Kelly provided a spark for this team, no doubt.
He played really well tonight. He played very natural. You know, he made plays with his feet and his arms, so that was fun to watch him play.
What about the starters, the way things started out? Obviously, we talked to Case Keenum. He wasn't pleased. The defense wasn't real pleased with what they started.
Well, on defense, we didn't stop the running, and on offense, we had a nice first down play. We jump into a no huddle, and we jump off sides. You know, so it was all self-inflicted wounds, and starting faster has to be our goal next week.
When you evaluate this thing, just your final overall thoughts on this thing. I mean, people are going to want to hear about a quarterback controversy again. We had it once. Yeah. What do you want? What is your thoughts coming out of this game?
Well, Case Keenum's our starter, so we don't have a quarterback controversy at all. Okay, obviously we got to watch the tape and see what really happened tonight. But we have a starter right now, so I'm good.
Very good, Vance. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay.
And remember, these guys were 4-0 last year. In the preseason, they only won 5 games in the regular season, so maybe a loss is a good thing at this point. Guys, we'll send it back up to you.
Well done, Rod.
Rod, I'm sorry that he talked you into asking him that question because you knew what answer you were going to get. We have our quarterback in Case Keenum.
I know. I